Welcome back to another episode of The Winner's Culture, where we like to highlight the journey to success instead of the glory that you often see. We back with another special episode. Y'all know, as always, I got my co-host with me. To the left.
Hey, y'all, it's Bondi.
And then to the right.
It's just JJ.
Y'all know me, man. 1 R, 1 Y, 1 L. Don't get it twisted. So like I said, we got another one for y'all today. This one is I say it's probably going to be one of my favorite interviews. I just feel it. I feel it's going to be like one of my favorite ones. But we got my man Max with me. How you feeling?
I'm good. I appreciate you, bro.
Good.
What's going on, good brother?
I'm good, money. How you feeling, bro?
I'm chilling, man. This should actually really be easy because Max certainly is a talker, certainly a philosopher.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? I met him as a philosopher, so everybody agrees. y'all can't see it off camera, but everybody agrees. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. I'll take that.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. So for the people that don't know, a little bit about yourself, if you could introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, just so the people know.
Yeah, I'm Max. Max Ali. I do a bunch of different stuff. Make music, paint, write music. Yeah.
You definitely about to sell yourself short, but it's cool.
What else? I mean, you might got to get me started, and then I could go where your
You write scripts.
Oh yeah, I do. That's true.
You in film. Like,
That's true.
That's crazy. How you could just casually forget that you.
like,
You see what I'm saying?
my fault. I forgot I was in Tribeca. We get into it. But you just casually forgot.
I was. Damn, that's true. Oh my god. All right, let me get into mode.
There you go.
Yeah, see, he was sleeping on us.
Yeah, my bad.
Got him up.
Sorry, y'all. Yeah, so I make movies, write TV shows. I did a couple like acting gigs. Now that might be everything.
All right. See, now we making sense. So first question I wanted to ask is, at what age did you get exposed to these different art forms, and like when did this passion come about? Like, where did that stem from?
Like since I was a kid, I'm the youngest, so like my parents was always into music. My brothers and sisters was always into music, but nobody did music.
Yeah.
But I felt like we all knew everything about music. So like I remember Tower Records used to be on Broad Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we walk up to Tower Records. And my brother, I remember going into Tower Records to stand in line for Miseducation at Lauryn Hill.
Wow.
My brother got Miseducation. And the first thing we would always do, unwrap that joint, put the CD in a CD player, blast that joint. My dad downstairs, turn that shit down, right? But I used to read the booklets.
Yeah, I
So
missed those.
that's how I used to
Booklets
know.
had the lyrics.
The
Well,
lyrics.
they had the lyrics, the
producer
producers,
info.
the writers,
Yeah.
the label, all of that. So that's
Wow,
how
that
I
took
would
me
know.
back. My fault. That just took me back in time. Like it feel like a whole different time.
Yeah.
CDs.
Right.
So that's how I would know like people real names before like you could Google it. So I remember like my brother had a Lil Kim album and it said Sean Carter, and I was like, who the fuck is Sean Carter? Like, and then I was reading Jay-Z album like a year later and was like, Sean Carter. I was like, and then I remember his Jones called Life and Times of S. Carter. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
Jay-Z real name Sean? I thought that was his real name at that time. So that's how I would learn like music, who produced stuff, and like I would start following like different people. Like, oh, Timberland produced this. Oh, Timberland produced it. Missy wrote it. Like, and then you start kind of catching on to stuff like that. So that's how it like started. And then when I was younger, like I went to boarding school, but like it was this moment I guess at boarding school. I was in like 4th grade, and like I was just playing the keyboard, just playing around in music class. I ain't never take it serious for real. And the music teacher, his name was Mr. Terlecki. He was like Polish or something like that. And he was like, yo, do that again. I don't even know what I did, so I kind of like did it again. He was like, how you learn that? And I was like, oh, that's in like a Lauryn Hill song. And he was like, yeah, like how do you know that though? I was like, I just heard it. And he was like, that's not normal. So then like the other music people from the program was like, yo, like, do you play any instruments? And I was like, nah. But basically what he was saying to me was like, I have a thing where like I can hear music keys, I can just play it. I don't know how to read music. I don't know how to play music for real. Like you play a song and it got a chord in it, I could find that chord on the piano and like 2 keys, hearing it and be like, all right, this is an octave down, this it right here. But I don't know if it's a C major. I don't know none of that, but I could hear it and just know. So that's how like it got started. And then from there, like I always played sports. So I was always like a basketball, football star. So I never really took creative stuff seriously. And then I went to college and played basketball and realized like, nah, that's not it. But at that time, everybody like, no, you went D1, you got to go to the league. Like, it ain't no choice. And I'm like, I don't really want to do this no more. And they like, what you want to do? And at that time, it's like, you leaving basketball because you want to make music and kind of be in movies? Like, nigga, if you don't take your ass to class and go to the court. But I was just like, I'm one of them people, like, I'm passionate. If I'm not passionate about it, I can't do it. So I was like, nah, I don't want to play basketball no more. And then I just straight went into, like, finding stuff. Like, I'm going to go to theater school. I'm going to take music lessons. I'm going to try everything. And then I started finding myself.
Wow.
So what's your main joint? Always music? Or like how you get into the painting and those things?
Yeah, so it was always everything. So that's why, like, I would just start trying everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I always been into, like, history and then, like, art history. So I would know, like, painters and stuff and, like, different techniques, but I would never really try it. So eventually I would get to a point where, like, I'd be down about something or I'd be bored or whatever. And, like, I said this before, but, like, when I listen to music, like, I hear colors. Like, I can see colors. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, damn, like, I wonder if I start painting this shit, what it would look like. Mm-hmm. So I would just be messing around with it. But then I would, like, go 2-3 years without painting. But, like, my dad would be hanging my paintings up and shit. And I'd be like, that's kind of like when you scribble on some paper as a kid and your parents hang it
put
up.
It on the fridge.
So I never thought it was good. And one day my dad was like, so you just gonna go from, like, never painting nothing to painting this type of shit? And I was like, oh, you really like this. That's why you hang it up. He was like, yeah, like, this is something. So I was like, all right, we'll see. But I never really got back to it. I would just dabble in it. But I started going to theater school. So I started going to theater school, and then in theater, they, like, classically train you for music. Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm an R&B singer. So I was like, yo, I'll really start writing songs and be Trey Songz, Chris Brown vibes. But then I couldn't sing. So then I was like, all right, like, I want to write poetry. I started writing poetry. And my homie came and found, like, my book of poetry and was like, oh, you be rapping? And I was like, nah, chill. Like, why are you reading my stuff? He was like, nah, like, bro, this is bard. Like, you should rap this. And then that kind of got me into rapping when I was, like, 18. Kind of got me into it.
Okay. So did the art, did that start at the same time, like, when you decided to stop playing?
Yeah, so it really happened, like, one after another. So I stopped playing, come back to Philly. So I went to school in Ohio, came back to Philly. Come back to Philly, my mom and dad straight sit me down. Listen, nigga, we not giving you no money. You gonna have to figure this shit out. Like, so I'm like, all right.
Ohio's crazy, actually. I want you to, like, what school?
University of Akron in Ohio.
You went to Akron?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I went to Ohio one time. It was dumb cold. It was dumb white. I was burnt out. I needed to go.
Super
real rap.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Real rap. I think it might have been Akron, or it might have been, I forgot what school. What's another big school?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Where is Kent State in Ohio?
Kent State.
Kent State. That's where I went then.
You seen the Adrian Broner meme? Same thing. Like, Ohio is one city.
That's what I was like. Like, the deeper we went, I just felt like the more to the south, but I thought I was not going to the south. Yeah. And I felt like it was so cold when I got out that my face, like, it was blown. Like, but to the west, though. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Which was crazy. But yeah, so shout out to you. I would probably have made a decision like that too. Like, matter of fact, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, and I actually, like, love Akron. Like, I be feeling like the people there and stuff like that I still talk to. Like, I really love Akron. You know what I'm saying? I got a University of Akron hat I still wear.
Okay.
You know, like, I appreciate my 1 year there type shit, but, like, it just wasn't it for me. You know
okay.
And like, coming from a big city where it's black, all I know is black. Like, I never even had a white friend. Now I'm on a team, 80% of it white people. All my coach is white. Like, I don't even know which language to talk to.
Where you went to high school?
I went to high school in South Philly. So I went to 2 high schools. I went to Math, Civics, and Science in North, and then I went to Furnace High School in South Philly, and we played with South Philly High basketball.
So from Furnace to Akron?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I went from Philadelphia Public School.
Yeah, I was about to say,
that's
crazy
culture shock. Was that your first time around white people like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably to that capacity for sure.
How'd you even find that school? Like, how did
they
you?
They found me. So
like recruiting type time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started getting recruited, and before I even got to high school, and it was so wild. I thought the letters was fake. So they sent me a letter, and they was like, "Yo, you one of our top recruits in the 2012 class." It was them, and it was Wichita State, in Kansas. And I'm like, I never even heard of Wichita State. Akron, my 8th grade year, went to the tournament, lost to Gonzaga, so I heard of them. And then LeBron high school coach was the coach.
Okay.
So I knew Keith Dambrot. So when he sent me a letter, I was like, this Aki, like, who faking these letters? Like, LeBron coach ain't send me no damn letter. And they not allowed to talk to you before, like, before you go to high school. So maybe like a week before I started 9th grade, he called me. He was like, yeah, like we really interested. So, you know, make sure you staying on course, make sure you staying focused because we're going to follow you throughout high school. You know, if you hit all the metrics, we're going to give you an offer. So I'm like, wow, that's wow. But 9th grade, I'm on varsity, but I don't get no time for real. So 10th grade come, I get kind of time, but like the people that's ahead of me, I'm better than, but it's favoritism. So I'm like, I need to transfer. So then I go from my freshman year, I averaged like 3, second year, I averaged like 8. My junior year, I averaged 17. My senior year, I averaged 18.
Okay.
And then Wichita State and Akron. A funny story I always tell, Fred VanVleet from the Raptors.
Yeah.
So me and him was like competitive and recruiting out of high school. He was from Chicago. So I did my visit at Akron, and I was going to go to Wichita State. And Wichita State was like, yo, we only got 1 scholarship left. And we got like this kid from Chicago. Like, we going to offer it to him.
Wow.
So I'm like,
Fred VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet. So a part of it, like, I'm totally satisfied with not playing sports because I feel like I would have been a totally different person if I just played basketball my whole life, which is another conversation.
Feel the same way.
I vicariously lived through Fred VanVleet because we like literally built the same style game. Like, we not super tall, we not athletic, exact same style game. So to see his success in the NBA, I'd be like, that's fire. Like, that's what would have happened if I'd have kept pursuing it. So that's how I be feeling.
I would have did the same thing with any you feel me? So another first of all, that story just opened up your story. Even you always add another part that I ain't. For the people who ain't know, like we kind of cool, so we had these talks already, and I'm like, every time I'm like, this is a piece that's kind of important that wasn't there before. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
But a piece that was there, I think you talked about a little bit. Well, I guess it go right hand in hand. Every time you did something, you found a unique avenue to express it, like the stages that you've been on or the galleries that you've been in. Can you talk about how you got there and the type of stages that you've been on?
Yeah, so started theater school. I did theater school in New York. I got fired from my job in New York, had to move back to Philly. I finished theater school in Philly at Walnut Street Theater. So after that, that's like a super respected theater.
Yeah.
So like Drew Barrymore, Grandpop went there. Like it's a bunch of famous people that like studied there. I didn't know that. I just knew that shit was on 9th and Walnut and I could walk there. So, you know, it worked out like that. So after I finished, they give you like your certifications and stuff that you submit with like headshots and stuff to get roles. Right. So I submitted for a role and they was like, we looking for young, minority, nice looking, attractive, no tattoos. And at this time I didn't really have too many tattoos. So I was like, all right, cover these up. And they was like, no facial hair. Now, I'm from Philly, so I want my shit to connect, right? So I'm like, no facial hair. I can't do this role. But something told me, like, yo, apply for this job.
But was it there at the time?
Wow, you getting personal.
Was it? You getting personal.
You getting personal.
I'm trying to say, did you fit the role?
I had the chin and the mustache, and, you know.
Okay.
It was kind of, you know what I'm saying?
But you ain't want to cut it because you like.
Exactly.
Okay,
It's going to throw me off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So no.
That's all she heard. Fair, yeah,
Everything in time, good brother.
I ain't have it. That's a fact. I ain't have it. So I submit for the role, and they was like, yo, you got to come to L.A. And, like, you know, God, because of God, my brother already lived in L.A., so I could stay with him, so I didn't have to, like, rent somewhere, and that was, like, a super savior. Plus, like, the underlying thing of all of this is, like, my brother just always been there to, like, help me with so much shit. You know,
Okay.
That's a shout-out to him.
You older?
Yeah, I'm the youngest, so he the oldest.
Okay.
So my brother was living in L.A., so I go to L.A., I go through the auditions and stuff, and they like, yeah, we're going to give you a part. And I play like, so the movie is called The Suitcase, and it's based on like 9/11, but from like the Boston airport, because the guy at Boston airport actually stopped the guy from taking a plane and going to the Pentagon. Yeah. So basically, the movie is based on that whole unraveling, and I played like one of his like baggage claim people. Mm-hmm. So I had like 1 or 2 talking lines that they wound up cutting out the movie. It was just like, that's ass. But that's what got me starting to doing movies.
But you went to LA for this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in LA for probably like 6 months. And at that time, I was also working on like my first music project and like putting it out. So I did a movie, dropped my first music project, and like the movie, so in Hollywood, when they shoot movies, they don't tell you what's actually going to happen with it. Mm-hmm. It just happens. Mm-hmm. So it was a full-length film. They made it a short film because they wanted to premiere at Tribeca Film Festival. So we shot it in 2015 and 2017 and premiered at Tribeca Film Festival, which is like the biggest film festival in the world type shit. So then you got like an IMDb profile and stuff where like they track you and talk about all your listings and stuff like that. But doing it, like you'll be on set 16 hours. I'd be like, damn, I don't really want to do this. I started making music at the time, and my music started like get popular and stuff. So when I dropped my first project, it was on like the U.S. hip hop charts because that's when people still bought albums. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna sell my album for like $5, and then I'm gonna ask everybody I know for $5, and if they say yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, just buy my album. So I sold probably like 300-400 copies.
Wow.
That joint was like 115 on the U.S. hip hop chart. So I'm like, oh shit, like I might be able to do something with this. So I started caring more about music and started booking shows and stuff like that and start kind of building that up. At that time, I was still painting stuff, but I wouldn't do anything with the paintings. I'd paint and like throw it away or just let it sit or whatever. But I would be doing all of them at the same time. So it just depends on like which one took precedent, which one was actually moving kind of thing.
Okay. So I seen you like standing in front of paintings and all that. Where was that at?
So I'll go to the art gallery, but like that was in my crib.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like I'll paint and just hang them up around my crib and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if I'm at an art gallery, I might, like I'll go to different joints and stuff like that. But for the most part, it just be my stuff that I'll hang up and then just be standing in the crib, take pictures with it, something like that.
Wow, that's crazy. All these different stories. Like, I feel like the one of the things that you really greatest at though is finding avenues to put it all together and to broadcast it and to be on the you was talking about how you rapped at UCLA.
Oh yeah. So I got invited to come speak at UCLA basically. So one of the kids like heard of my music or something like that, and it turned into me like connecting with people. My brother being able to like build the connections for me, which I say like he plays such a prominent role in like my growth and trajectory too. So I start connecting with people, and one of the professors was like, hey, can you come like speak in my class? So I'm like, all right, cool. Speaking a class, and they was like, yo, like you super dope, like we on a homecoming committee, like can you like do homecoming? So I was like, all right, like I'm like, when is it? I'm here. And they was like, yeah, like we could pay you for it, all that. I was like, all right, like, you know what I'm saying? So then they had like they whole stage booked for like homecoming. So like I headlined a homecoming in like 2017. And it's UCLA, so they got 50,000 students, so it's like thousands of students in a little pavilion and shit and just performing, kind of like, oh shit, all right, we doing it.
What was the class? You remember the class that you spoke for?
Yeah, so I did two things at UCLA. It was a sociology class and an AFAM studies class. So two different ones. And the AFAM study class was like AFAM studies music class. So they was like, for their project total, they was doing like an album where everybody pretty much put their talent on the album. So rap, sing, poet, whatever, they putting it on the album. And they was like, yo, like, you an artist. Can you come do something for the album? So I did like a smaller show for like the class project kind of thing and invited people out. And they had like a library book. We like sold out the library. It was probably like 100 people, 150 people. And yeah, that's kind of how it started.
That's crazy. That's the whole every joint is just like
it's wild.
Like
I appreciate that because it's my regular life, so I don't be feeling like I'm like I ain't Drake, so it's not that deep.
No, it's definitely not something.
You know how many people
like
don't get them stages though? Like
That's true.
Don't get who really be trying, like who really be fighting. Not that you wasn't trying, but like it was coming, like it was just coming like that in so many ways. Even from the basketball scholarship to the stages to the theater to the tribe, like that's not regular.
That's true. It's definitely not regular. I definitely
that's definitely not regular. Definitely not regular. Real rap though.
Yeah, with all of those accolades and accomplishments, what was it like forming those professional relationships? Because to touch those stages and then to make those connections, what strategies, if you did have any strategies, did you implement in terms of your networking to nourish those relationships?
So one thing I missed because I didn't stay in college the whole time was like the networking part. So just meeting people, and your roommate start working at the White House, and now you could get to the White House. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would just literally be talking to people. You know what I'm saying? Like I go somewhere, and mind you, I don't really like. I talk to y'all because we all like got a camaraderie. We cool. But like if I don't really know somebody, I literally just won't talk to you. And no disrespect, it's just I'm a Philly nigga at the end of the day, right? Just kind of to yourself. But I was like, yo, let me get out of my shell and like let me just talk to people, which worked out because then I started being able to be super comfortable just expressing myself in general. Yeah. But I would just meet people, talk to people, and even like when you say like getting on stages, getting networking opportunities and stuff like that, that's how I got the Warner Brothers deal. Yeah. So I just went to a screening and literally just asked the guy a question. And he came up to me after and was like, yo, that question was amazing. I was like, word, like, okay, cool. And I was with my mom. My mom was like, like black moms, like, get his information, right? So I'm like, Mom, like, he is a Hollywood producer. He's not giving me his information. She's like, go ask him. So I'm like, all right, Mom, I'm asking him. So I was like, yo, do you have like an email or a card where like I could contact you later? He was like, yeah. And he wrote down his email for me. And he was like, yo, if you ever in LA, like, let me know. And I'm from South Philly, so if you tell me if I'm ever in LA, let you know. I will go to LA tomorrow and let you know. Like, yo, I'm in LA.
Here. What's up?
So he responded. He was like, oh, like, do you want to come to the office? And I was like, duh, nigga. Like, yeah, like, what I need to do? So he sent me like information and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, you come to the office. And long story short, created like a whole relationship. And then like a couple shows that I wrote, like he wanted to produce it. So then like we got a deal worked out for him to like sell my shows to like networks and stuff like that. So literally just talking to people. That was the point of the story. Like just literally sparking conversation, random conversation. Yo, I like your sneakers, man. What you do? Like that type of stuff. And then it built into stuff.
That's crazy. You're crazy. Like he just floated into like, yeah, that's how the Warner Brothers did. Like, bro, you can't.
I was about to say Warner Brothers did.
Warner Brothers.
I don't know what that means. Can you explain?
So when you when you create a project, right, in Hollywood, you could get a couple different type of deals. So you get a first look deal, which means like you sign rights where like that's what Tyler Perry has, what I believe like Lionsgate. So anything he creates, they automatically get the first look to try to produce it, sell it, whatever, make it happen basically. So I got a right to shop deal with Warner Brothers. So all the parent companies that you hear, Lionsgate, Universal, Warner Brothers, and all of that, they all got a bunch of production companies under them that specialize in certain things. So you'll get a deal through that production company under Warner Brothers, right? So I got the deal through the production company to produce 2 of the shows that I wrote, and they got a right to shop deal. So it gives them the right, the exclusive right to shop around my ideas to the networks that they work with that they think will best sell it at a certain price point, things like that. Now, since I'm new in Hollywood, I never did anything in Hollywood for real. It's harder to sell. So my thing been trying to get like a big time director or somebody or actor to be a part of it. And if they attach themselves to it, the networks would be like, oh, so-and-so going to be on it. They're going to direct it. They're going to produce it. Okay, now we willing to do it because we know they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to get it right, that kind of thing. So that's a right to shop deal. So that's what I got with Warner Brothers.
Okay. Well, yeah, you the first person I ever heard.
Ever met. Yeah, that had that situation.
That even worked in Hollywood and to that capacity. And I feel like a lot of people want to get in the film, want to be in all that, but don't know how or don't know any. Like I said, I don't even know. I would have liked to be on Disney Channel.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's Max, and this is Disney. That's a super fact.
So a question to the floor is, what do you think that the pathway to be a creative look like in our age today? You feel what I'm saying? Is it a defined pathway? Can you just do anything? What y'all think?
You want to take that first?
No, we can let her take it. She hasn't said too much.
I feel like I don't really think that you have to define it. Like it could be whatever you want it to be. Like for instance, when I was young, I thought that only Asian people did nails and the black women did hair. And you go to the Africans to get the braids. Like it was all just very
right.
segregated. And now that I'm older, I'm seeing black women do nails. I'm seeing black women do hair, braid. They're like in more Caucasian communities doing, color. And I'm comparing it just to like hair and more glamorous things because that's what I'm into. But those people are also still artists. And it's nice and like, I don't know, refreshing to see art be defined in other ways and being defined in other ways like in our community and other communities. So
I feel that.
That's real.
I feel that. I think the successful path for a creative is literally like the Disney Channel loop. Like it's all over the place, bro. There is no direct pathway for a successful creator. I think it's literally whatever you make it to be. It's literally like a combination of random conversations. It's a combination of being in the right place, being comfortable in your own skin to talk to somebody, or comfortable enough to pursue what you're truly passionate about. It's literally whatever the path looks like for you in that. It's no direct thing. I think that is the hard part, though, about being a creative.
no
Because, if you want to be a doctor, we know the steps.
Right.
If we want to go to the league, It's still a hard task, but you know the type of work you got to put in.
Right.
But it's like if you want to be a successful film director who also makes music, who sometimes in his spare time likes to do production or engineering, there is no direct pathway for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that is the hard part for creatives, which is also why I tip my hat to those who have built a
But it's
lifestyle.
like there is kind of a path for that, and it's like being under somebody and like having mentorship.
Yeah.
But also that's not the path with money.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like it's a toss up.
From what I seen, like I used to think that like basically you could do whatever and it just was going to work out like that.
I still feel that way.
But now I feel like it's not like a specific like skill, I would say, but the consistency piece of it, of like the pathway to be a successful creative,
Agreed.
is that you got to keep creating
Yeah.
and keep creating is it. Whereas like you said, like a doctor or something, you could take your classes and you can go whatever, and you might have your summer breaks, or you might have like, I go to this class at 8 and I go to this class at 12 and I do my homework, but you feel what I'm saying, outside of that, or I do whatever I do, but outside of that, I can have
My time.
when you are like creative is your job, the ones that really make it,
It's
Yeah.
like your life.
it's your life,
Yeah.
like your whole thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah, I mean, everybody is absolutely correct. I'll add like a slightly different perspective. I think being a successful creator is like defining what you think success is, right?
That's true.
So Dave Chappelle got like a quote or whatever, and he was saying he didn't want to go to college, so his mom and his grandma was like mad at him. So they pretty much sent him to his dad and was telling his dad like, yo, talk some sense into him. And his dad was like, yo, why you don't want to go to college? And he was like, yo, like I want to do comedy. Like that's really what I want to do in my life. And he said, well, how do you know if you're successful at comedy? And he said his dad was a teacher. He said, if I can make what a teacher makes doing comedy, then I'm successful. And to me, it took me a while to really get to that point, but that's really how I feel now. Like if I could make $50,000 a year just making music, painting, writing, like I could live on that. That's middle class. You know what I'm saying? I'm successful. Like I could do all my own stuff and create that. And I feel like a lot of times, like as black people, we be like, if you ain't making $10 million a year, then you ain't successful. Yeah. So that's how I think about it now.
So I guess that lead right into this. Like, have you had any setbacks on your journey, or even more so, like as a creative, what do you classify as a setback?
What do I classify as a setback? That's a great question. But yeah, of course, I had more setbacks than successes. Like, it was a period. Like, God damn, like, God, what's going on?
What happened?
So yeah, I had a million setbacks. That's what make you appreciate the growth or the elevation. You know what I'm saying? And it. But I'm sorry, what was the second question you asked? You said
what do you classify as a setback as a creative?
Yeah, I would say a setback. It's just like when you learn it, a couple things. When you learn it, you're not as good as you think you are. Because when you start off pretty much ass for the most part. You might think you fire, but like when I first started rapping, I was terrible. But when I was rapping it, I was passionate. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm not on Jay-Z level. You know what I'm saying? And then as I started getting better, I realized I was trash. But then somebody hear you and they like, that shit corny. And you like,
that hurt you a little bit.
Exactly. So I look at that as like, that's the setback, but it's the setback, like the step back you need. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like when you take a step back to examine the whole thing, like that's the setback to me. Okay. So anytime like I'm elevating, it's like, all right, let me take a step back. Damn, I did do that wrong. Damn, that wasn't really fire. Damn, I could have added that to it. You know what I'm saying? That's the setback for me now. And like I be welcoming it because it's like, all right, now I can sharpen my tools. Now I know, like, once I get this done, you can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
you got a different perspective now from that's a good joint. Is there any songs or artists y'all listen to when y'all going through tough times, hard times, going through it?
It depends on what I'm going through.
Oh, you got specific.
Yeah. It definitely depends on what I'm going through.
Yeah. So what's the just general hardship artist song? Or artist or song? Like it's just a tough time in life.
Let me look at my
yeah, she about to put a playlist out.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all. It really fluctuates. Like I don't know. It's Let's circle back to me. Let me look.
Okay.
No, I could relate to that. I feel like it definitely depends on what you going through, the type of hurt that you feeling. Like,
Right.
what you talking about? Are we talking about?
Like, am I stressed? Am
right.
I heartbroken?
Right. That's what I was
Am
gonna
hungry?
say.
Like, what's
what are we?
going
What,
on?
what type of hurt are we talking about?
I feel like a setback hurdle. You feel what I'm saying? You was
Like
trying,
what?
you was trying to get something done, and it didn't happen.
I got you.
Or like, you feel what I'm saying? Like some motivation music, I would say.
Oh, so if I feel like that, then that could vary too, because I could listen to something motivational. It depends on how hard that was also. If it was like to the point where it was like devastating, like your goals and aspirations was right here and then it got snatched away,
Yeah.
I got to go turn the gospels on real
I
quick.
was just about to say that. Oh my God.
I got to get in worship real quick, get
Gotta
straight.
throw something
And
on.
then after I get out of that, I could throw some nip on or something like that and get
Not
back
even
to
that.
it.
I'm such
But
a
like-
softie. Like if I'm devastated, I gotta put on more devastated music to make me cry.
I gotta get deep in it.
Because I won't cry on my own.
Oh no, I feel that. I feel
So I
that.
gotta
That's a
put
good
the music
perspective.
on,
Yeah.
so I could get
Get
it
it
out,
out.
so I could
That's
like
fair.
keep going. So I'm definitely the person like, if I'm sad, I'm gonna put on more sad music, and I'm gonna be crying. Yep,
I respect.
Yeah, that's heartbreak hurt for me. Like I gotta put
Yeah.
on a certain song, and
All
then
of it.
if you don't call me by the time that song over,
yo, you always say this. The song is 4 minutes. Like that's insane.
If you don't
Nah,
call me
I
by the
done threw
time
on
the
some
song
long
over, it's over.
songs.
I done
you
threw
don't
on
call
some
yeah,
long
if you don't call me by the
Put on
time this
Tony,
record
Tony,
over.
Tony
Isley Brothers song is 10 minutes.
extended
There you go.
version.
Okay, if I throw on one in the morning, you don't call me by the end of that record.
It's over.
Don't let
But
this tear drop.
you said you broke up with them.
Don't let this tear drop.
Wow, that's
all I'm
crazy.
saying.
I respect
Sick.
it.
Cause he the prize.
Hello?
Sick.
Science.
You're sick.
I feel like I'm with y'all. No matter what it is, like if I feel like struggle or hurt, the first thing I'm gonna play is gospel. I'm gonna always play usually a Kurt Franklin song.
This is
One
hilarious.
of the old ones. I'm gonna play
Yeah.
one of the old ones first. And I'm gonna just feel it. You feel what I'm saying? Elevate. And then no matter what it is, like no matter what the situation is, the next thing is some hard track. Like, like I'm
That's
talking,
that
like,
athlete stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
after that is future.
it's
Like,
some
after
hard,
I,
like-
no, for real. After I cry, it's future.
it's some hard track. So it's gonna be like I mean,
I
it's
won't
not
go
always
next
so oftentimes it's Nipsey. You feel what I'm saying? But
Yeah, that's what mine
it
is.
might also
Yeah,
be Lil
Nipsey.
Baby, or it might also be like Meek, or it might also be like it's gonna be, you feel what I'm saying? Where I'm really, because I gotta get there with it. You feel what I'm I'm a lion now.
Locked in.
Yeah,
Y'all going from worship to war.
that's how I go. You feel what I'm saying?
It'd be like
Because I'm
the
good.
Jay-Z.
I'm not good, but I'm good enough to know that I can keep going. So it's like that's the next move.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Where you at with it?
Yeah, I'm definitely Nipsey. I need somebody that talk that talk in the language where I'm from, how we talk,
Yeah.
the way we talk it. I need Hove. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I need you to talk that talk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like my favorite go to, I'm stressed, I go play I Don't Stress by Nipsey. I don't stress out.
I don't
nigga.
stress out.
Poke my chest out, weight on my shoulder,
that's
bring
out.
the best
That's
out.
out.
nigga. Like, oh, they don't even know. I'm about to hop right on my duffel now. Oh, you doubted me? Say less. I needed that.
That's
So
how I
that's
feel.
where my energy be.
And crazy
What's the-
part is
what's the
sometimes
whole-
I go through this cycle and nobody even doubted me. You feel what I'm saying?
Wait. You on some Michael Jordan shit. He like, and I
dead
took
to
that personal.
I took it personal. You feel what I'm saying? Like I feel like that look meant that you doubted me. And so I go in the Kurt Franklin come on, and then the Nip come
Michael
on,
Jordan is also an
and
Aquarius,
I'm turning it up.
so-
But wait,
Turn it
though.
up.
Insanity
in the
makes
in the
perfect
last dance joint, he was like they went to play the Washington Wizards and the Bulls scored like 30 in the first half, and Michael Jordan was like, yeah, he was talking shit, he was talking crazy. So the next half, I was like, all right, I'm on his ass now. He think it's a game. So Michael Jordan was like, I scored like 40 in the second half. He was like, I was just talking crazy to him, all of that. So they was like 2 weeks later, like Scottie Pippen or somebody come to him and was like, yo, Mike, what he was saying? Michael Jordan was like, oh no, I made that up. He ain't say nothing. I was like, what?
No, real rap though. Sometimes I you got to make it up because it's like I just feel it off of you, and I don't know. You see what I'm saying? One time I had asked like this group of people, like, do y'all think I can do it? Expecting to get at least one no for my own motivation, and they all said yes. So I took that personally. You feel what I'm saying? I'm
You
like,
believe me too
That's
hard.
yeah. You see,
Like,
you,
that's
you see what I'm
insanity.
saying?
that's insane. Is
Cause-
that not?
But this is why I took it personally
wrong
though.
with this man?
This what I'm saying though. One of y'all is lying. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts. I'm not mad at
One-
the
you see
lie.
what I'm saying? One
I'm
is
not
your
mad
one
at
of you, and now I'm mad that you lied.
to my face.
You lied to me to
You
my
gonna lie
face
to
now.
my face now.
So you
Say
know what
less.
happened? The Kurt Franklin come on.
That is
Then it-
insane because you completely made that up.
I can feel.
You're making
It's
it
a
up.
feeling. I'm trying to tell you.
You're making
That's
that
how you
up.
get through things.
And then you're believing it and acting on it. That's called delusional.
You feel what I'm
If
saying?
a woman said that, you would call her crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
If a woman said it, you would call it intuition.
Good point. That's a great. You see what I'm saying?
If
And I
a
feel like
woman
my
picked up
intuition
on
is strong.
A fake hater, I would call her delusional because no one's hating on you. Like exactly. So again, it's false intuition. It's insecurity.
You see what I'm saying?
She's an alternate fact.
And the other reason why I know too is because people be talking about you behind your back.
Exactly,
You feel what I'm
bro.
saying? So I know.
So
like,
why are you asking these people anyway?
To see if they're gonna be honest.
That's all.
But if
I
you
just
know,
wanna see if you gonna tell me the truth.
that they're not, what is there to test if your intuition is so strong?
Because I need to hear it. There's
Right.
something about hearing it in real life
That
take me there.
Right,
She
you're
said
missing
you
my
missing the
point.
point.
He's missing
cool.
it.
It's cool. He had to do what he had to do to get himself through. So it's cool.
You feel what I'm saying? Everybody
So
knows.
anyway, and I like to end off my music with a little party music.
That never hurt nobody.
Like in a dollar party.
That never hurt nobody.
Like I made
feel
a
that.
dollar party.
She definitely from North with that. I respect it.
Yeah, I'm not much of a dancer, so I don't really take it there.
Basement
At the end.
party.
Facts.
I just get right to it.
You're right.
Oh, speaking of music though, what's your concept for your new project?
Yeah, so the concept for it, so the title of the album is called Fool's Wisdom. So to make a long story short, right, I landed on it because I had a bunch of different titles, a bunch of different thoughts I was going through. And I started thinking like, yo, what perspective do I want to like speak from? Like, what's my lane among everybody else that make music? So I came up with Fool's Wisdom basically. To make a long ass story short, back when kings and shit was like the ruling class, they would always have fools that was like their sidekick, right? But the fools was supposed to be somebody that was allowed to express like everyday life to them because the king didn't live in everyday life.
Disconnected. Wow.
Exactly. So he would have a fool that lived in the commons but come back and that's his sidekick. But the thing about the fool had to be talented because you was only allowed to say stuff as entertainment. So you either have to tell jokes or sing it or make music out of it or whatever. But the point of the fool is like, you're so disconnected, you would never understand what's even going on. So I have to make this make sense to you in a way that you either laugh at it or it moves your brain to be like, wow, that's what's going on.
So niggas. Wow. Y'all see?
Yeah. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all see the correlation though? It's the direct to how we
very
have to
profound.
express it in order to get taken seriously.
Exactly.
We either have to make it comedy or make it as
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But no, you're exactly right though. So that's like the hidden point of it, right? So I got it from
that's great.
I got it from Shakespeare, King Lear. So basically the story of King Lear, he left his kingdom to the daughters that actually wanted to kill him. And he banished the daughter that actually loved him. So the fool told him like, yo, the daughters you left it to is about to kill you and you don't even see it. And he was saying it as like a riddle, as like a poem kind of thing. And the king pretty much banished the fool. But when the king banished the fool, he goes blind. So now he can't see anymore. And then his daughters wound up executing a plot to kill him and take over the kingdom. So it's also like, you can't have a king without a fool, or you can't be a king before you are a fool. You know what I'm saying? And then also too, like the concept of like, God only protect fools and babies, people who don't know and people who can't know, right? So once you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? So once you're not a fool no more, you're supposed to elevate to a king. This guy, man.
Cause bro, a philosopher. I ain't even.
I'll take it.
You see what I'm saying? People don't be thinking, but this brother be
this level.
this brother be
This
thinking.
brother.
thinking.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
respect he turned into Farrakhan. I respect
This
it.
brother be
I
thinking.
appreciate it,
Y'all
King.
all have been giving grandpa vibes all day.
Oh my
This brother be
Wait,
thinking.
got hit with the leg crumbs.
Right. You got patted too. You got patted.
It's a fact.
I just became inspired by the
He about to
explanation.
die on
Like,
camera.
I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like this line of thinking or this art or this album is inspired, or yourself is inspired more by success or by struggle?
That's a good question. More so struggle. You know what I'm saying? Because I think like it's one thing for me to have things like I'm at the point in my life now where like I got everything I always wanted when I was a kid, right? So now I feel like I've literally checked everything off my box. The next step is just like elevation to like shit I never even thought I could do, right? But I feel like that's one thing for me to do it for myself. But what about like you might not know something that I know. Like, I'm not gonna tell that to you, or why wouldn't I tell that to you? Why wouldn't I put you in that position? You know, that kind of thing. So I think about it like it's based on struggle because we black. So niggas always been struggling. Niggas always been trying to figure out how to stop struggling, how to get something, how to create resources. So it's like, I've been blessed with a lot of things in my life, but I still struggle. And I be wanting niggas like, yo, so somebody ahead of me, can you tell me this and how I get into this door? So it's like, why wouldn't I help somebody do that too? So I don't even think about success a lot of times because, you know, that's subjective. You know what I'm saying? I might not be successful to you, but I'm successful to me, so you don't even take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think about it as like struggle, like regardless, you know what I'm saying? That's why I really relate to like Nipsey, because it was certain ways he said things that I was like, oh, you grew up where I grew up. You grew up with your parents doing certain shit, you know what I'm saying? Was you born in the 80s? Did your mama smoke cocaine? Have you ever seen the whole thing? Like, oh, everybody don't talk like that because that's a real experience. So when I see people like that, he got however much money, but he's speaking to people that's going through it of like, yo, this how you get through it. This the roadmap. This the navigation. You know what I'm saying? So I pay more attention to that than like successful people ain't gonna listen to you at a certain point anyway.
So do you feel like you're validated in your crafts and like all that you achieved so far? And I guess you kind of answered this earlier, but like, where do you draw the line for, you know, validation in?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't think I'm validated at all. But I have retarded level of confidence that, like, you know, like Kanye got a line, I don't need your pussy, bitch, I'm on my own dick. Yeah. I'm kind of along those lines. Like, you don't got to tell me I'm amazing. I will literally look at myself in the mirror and be like, nah, nigga, you amazing. You good. And, like, be perfectly fine. So, I mean, for me, I be caring more about, like, acknowledgement. Like, just acknowledge that it exists. You don't gotta say it's good, bad, indifferent, it's trash, it's amazing. Just acknowledge that this happened and it exists, and that'd be enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I let it speak for itself after that. So I think about it more so along those lines of like, validation definitely feels good when somebody acknowledged like your contribution was great or whatever. But you got to separate from that because you're going to get so many opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like when I drop a song, it's going to be 45 texts and 35 this and that. And it'd be like, yo, I like this, but I don't like this. Why you do this? You should have added this. It's be like, bitch, did you like it? You know what I'm saying?
Did you hear it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it just be like, let me know, yo, I listened to it. I thought it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I sent the song to JJ and JJ was like, do you want me to listen as a fan or do you want me to listen and tell you like my critiques? And I was like, I appreciate you asking, King. I just want you to listen to it and tell me if you like it. And he was like, I got you. And I was like, thank you for asking, because people would definitely be like, if you raise the treble on this and turn down a bit, nigga, they might ask you that shit. So, yeah, that's how I think about validation. Like, everybody got an opinion, so it is what it is.
Do you feel like that's giving you a greater sense of comfortability as an artist by having that perspective? Because when you kind of go into creating, I think, with the lens of wanting something from other people, when you put something of yourself out, it changes your perspective and then also the process of you creating. So you just want an acknowledgement versus, I would say, reception or like even approval. Does that change your stance as a creator?
Yeah, because it makes you like more freer to do the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times, like, when you making music, everybody got opinion about it. And I be saying all the time, I be like, yo, if Kendrick Lamar made this song, y'all would not have critiques on it. You would just respect it because he's in that light, right?
That's
but
a fact.
The fact that I'm tangible to you, you like should do this, change this, whatever. Cool. So how do I separate myself from that? I just got to get this to a point where I'm totally satisfied with it and just let it exist. It's going to be what it's going to be after that. But at least I could go to sleep at night knowing that, like, this is exactly what I wanted it to be.
Right.
So I just approach it like that, too, where it's like, no, it might be ass, but somebody probably going to think it's cool, and I'll take that one person, you know? So I would just say, once you free yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, that song Set Me Free. Like, once you free yourself from all of that, it's nothing you can't have. It's nothing you can't do. Like, the world is yours at that point.
Feel that. So you spoke on how you was a basketball player and you felt like that wasn't your lane or that's not what you wanted to do anymore. So how do you feel right now at where you at in life and what you doing with your crafts and artistry? You feel like you on the right path?
Yeah, for sure, man. I be feeling like every day I wake up, I got a reminder on my phone, pray, 7 o'clock every morning. I wake up, I be like, yo, thank you, God, for everything, for life, for resources, for opportunity, for health, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that. That's what I be caring about. And, like, I always say 2020 was the best year of my life because, like, the world stopped. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, like, I ain't in a rat race no more. I could really just, like, spend time with my brother, watch my nephew grow up, like, you know what I'm saying, like shit like that you can't do when you hustling and bustling trying to get it, right? So I just got to a point where it was like, I just want to be peaceful. I just want to chill. I want to appreciate the little things, and that's enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I told this story before too. Like my dad died in 2020, so it was like the best year of my life and the worst year of my life, right? And as much stuff as we care about, right? Like as a man, I want to make a bunch of money. I want to get the girls. I want to have everything that shows you I'm successful and I made it and I'm the greatest nigga possible, right? But like when my dad died, they just like, he left behind 4 kids, left behind a wife, and then the people come up and they give their perspective of how he helped their life. And I'm just like, damn, that's really it. Like, they ain't say how much money he had in his bank account. They ain't say how many bitches he fucked. They ain't say when he was 21, he was that nigga in the hood. They ain't say none of that shit. They said he left behind 4 kids, a wife, and his friends about to tell you what he meant to them. That's it. So as long as like my family good, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. I already got everything I want for the most part. You know what I'm saying? There's more stuff I want to do, of course, but like I got everything. I'm cool. So my mom's straight, you know what I'm saying? Like my brothers is cool. My nephew about to go to college. Like that's enough for me. You know, I be chilling after that. Like I know I'll make the money. So that's how I look at it. And I feel like when you put your shit on, it's super cliche, but when you put your perspective on the shit that matters, the other shit, like, oh, somebody not liking my song, that don't move me. Like, nigga, like, I just bought a new car. Who gives a fuck what you think? Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Very Kanye. Like, very Kanye.
yeah, that too. I don't take advice from people that got less money than me. So.
Gratitude for sure.
So we about to wrap it up. So the last question is, do you have any advice for up and coming creators or people who would like to see themselves in Tribeca or perform in front of crowds and stages like that? What would be your advice to the young brothers coming up in the city?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like yourself.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like literally, man, be yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't say a lot of affirmations. The one affirmation I say to myself every morning, if I'm myself 100% of the time, I'm going to get 100% of the shit God got for me. That's all I want. I don't want nothing else. I don't want nothing more, and I for sure don't want nothing less. And what God got for me, it ain't lottery. It's prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So I just be on that type time. So be yourself, because what you offer the world, nobody else going to offer that. I guarantee you. You know what I'm saying? And when you yourself, you're going to realize, like I got a line on Set Me Free, and I say the more I find myself, the more I see the world need it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll surprise yourself when you be like, damn, like I'm just me and people fuck with that. Not because I got money or because I give them this or because I fuck them good or because, no, it's just me. You know what I'm saying? And that's good enough. And once you get to that point in your life, everybody that's supposed to be around you gonna be around you. Everything you're supposed to have, you're gonna have. Everything you didn't even know you could do, you're gonna start getting. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say that, be yourself. There's going to be a lot of cool shit that other people doing, but we don't need another one of them. We need you. And once you get in your lane and you do your lane 100%, stay in your lane, ain't no traffic. When you get in other people's lane, you're going to get into traffic, and now, damn, why this ain't happened yet? And this person got this. Why I ain't get this? I'm better than that. You ain't in your lane. So find your lane, find your pace, you know what I mean? Before you run your race, you got to find your pace. Just make sure you cross the line and fuck the time it take. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would give to any young kid listening, grown person listening, whoever. Stay true to yourself. That's where all your gold going to be. That's where all your blessings going to be.
Fire.
He dropped his own bars in his jaw.
Certainly did.
That was Nipsey too.
Because I listened to a couple of the records, I'm like,
Right,
I'm picking it up.
That's
Now.
That's fair.
But no, in all seriousness, we really appreciate you coming out today, coming up here. Really appreciate the thought that you put into just everything and how you've illuminated perspectives and things. I'm very impressed by all of the men we had, by everybody, but especially the men, because I feel like, for the most part, men don't be thinking like that. Like I see a lot more sisters
don't be thinking.
Yeah, like a lot more women are just more tuned in, more tapped in, more. They feel much more sense of urgency. But so to see the men up here, you know, thinking and reading and prioritizing in the way that you are is special to me.
I appreciate that. Right. Also, too, real quick, I want to thank y'all. You know, we know each other behind the scenes for sure, but like even y'all podcast, like I feel like it was so different. And even before I really knew y'all, when I saw it, I was like, nah, this is just like a dope podcast of like, yo, what's the process and like how you get there and like what would you change, like that type of stuff. Usually people just want to interview you when you Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think about it like, appreciate y'all for having me and thinking I'm actually talented, you know, because I just be like, if my mom think I'm talented, then I'm talented. So anybody else is a bonus for real. But no, I appreciate y'all having all different perspectives and stuff like that too. So yeah.
Definitely. For the people that want to support you, man, get involved. Because there's even some stuff now that I'm thinking about that we ain't even talk about, like your own brand as far as the clothing. But if they want to get in contact with you, where can they support you? Where can they find you?
Apple Music is Max Ali. You can download all the songs and stuff like that. I promise they might be fire. Social media, my Instagram is Maxavelli Ali. Because they say I remind them of Tupac. What else? That's real rap though. What else? Yeah, I mean, those two places you can find me. My Instagram, like my business card, so we always connect on there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Solid. Well, make sure y'all follow the studio at Studio 524 Philly. Shout out to the home team for always producing our podcast. JJ, where can they find you at?
It's just _JJ.
And then Blondie, where can they follow you at?
Y'all can follow me at the Blonde Room.
Solid. Y'all can follow me at just Daryl. Like I said, 1 R, 1 Y, 1 L. What it is, what. Don't mess that up. And y'all can also follow us on the Winners Culture on TikTok, Instagram. What else we at?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music,
Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your
All
podcast, all of it.
Everything.
Tell your grandmom, your mom, auntie, cousin, brother, them, everybody. Until next time, man. We out.